Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam Show. Turn it up.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show, episode 670. 670. Right? 670? Yeah, 670 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslams Show for you all. 670 already filling up here without even one of my favorite times of the week. Hillbiz said, "Thank you, man. Wonderful. I appreciate it." We got a lot of people in the building here. Lots of wonderful, wonderful people in the building. Cam, Joe, Ricky, Robert, man, we've got some people already in the building. Be sure to keep sharing, hit that retweet. Almost at 200 already. Let's go, y'all. Already. It's a little over 5 minutes in the show. So thank you so much for the continued support for the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. Rollins in the building. Be sure to hit that subscribe and share. Let's go. Matter of fact, I'm like 18 away. I'm like 18 away from 1,000, y'all. I'm like 18 or 19 subs away from 1,000 on YouTube. So as we continue, as we wait here, and as people start loading up now, hey, do me a favor right now as we speak. Go to YouTube and subscribe. Go to YouTube right now, subscribe. Let's tonight get over 1,000 subs on YouTube. Already, ladies and gentlemen, already 202 right now live on the show. 202 live on the show right now and counting, more than that now. 6.5 minutes in. So it's going to be fun. Continue to support the show. Everybody go and support. Just hit that follow, hit that like button on YouTube, boost those algorithms, subscribe to YouTube. Let's get over 1,000 subs. I'm really trying to. Thank you on Twitter. I've reached over 6,000 followers now on Twitter. So thank you, Twitter X. I'm over 6,000 followers on Twitter X right now. So thank you all for your continued support, man. So thankful, so grateful for y'all. Man, I can't say enough. And so it would do my life, it would do me so well. It would be so amazing to me. Let's go over and let's get to 1,000, y'all, as we go over and yeah, let me go over here. I'm gonna look at the tally here. Yeah, all right. I'm seeing people liking. All right, we're 18 away, y'all. Go over to YouTube right now. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, go to YouTube right now and hit that sub button. Let's get over 1,000 subscribers tonight. We're going to do it tonight, y'all. We're going to do it tonight. We're going to get over 1,000 subs on YouTube tonight, y'all. We're going to do it tonight. And we are approaching 300 already. So yeah, let's go, man. I'm looking at YouTube right now. Go over to YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, Google Pink. Matter of fact, let me make it really, really easy for y'all. I'm about to give y'all the YouTube link in the comments right now. So we can get over 1,000. Click on that YouTube and let's get over 1,000 tonight, y'all. Let's do it. over 1,000 tonight. Already we are 250 plus now on with my YouTube love. Continue to bump up on you on Twitter. And yeah, go over to YouTube, y'all. Go over to YouTube. As there's 263 people here right now. Less than 10 minutes in, 265 right now. Be sure to like the button, hit that like button. Go to YouTube and let's get over 1,000. We are only 118 away from hitting. There's 267 people on here right now. If any of you 267 people, 268 right now, if any of your 269 are not subscribed on YouTube, go over to YouTube, hit the YouTube. Let's get over 1,000 subs tonight. All right, y'all. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. We are almost at 300 right now on the show. 10 minutes in. So thank you so much. Go over to YouTube. I'm seeing people come over. So hit that sub button. Let's get to 1,000 tonight. We only need 118 left to get to YouTube. 117. Somebody's listening. Somebody just subbed on YouTube. Thank you very, very much. Continue to sub. Let's get up. I'm telling y'all, let's do it. Let's do it tonight, y'all. Let's get over 1,000 subs on YouTube right now. Once again, thank you for the 6,000. I just reached over 6,000 today on Twitter, and let's get over 1,000 today on YouTube. All right, do me the favor for all these free classes that I'm giving you every week. I know that's a lot of people on here from Twitter. Joe just said he subbed. Thank you very much. Continue to let's do it, y'all. I mean, the Twitter, we're almost at 300 right now. I'm almost at 300. I'm about to celebrate 300. I'm gonna give y'all some love as soon as we cross the threshold of 300. I'm gonna give you some love. I'm gonna give you some applause. And as people continue to log on here, we're almost at 300 already, and it's gonna be fun. But let's do it tonight, y'all. Let's do it. Let's get over 1,000 subs on YouTube, and people saying that they sub, and I'm seeing more subs now. Thank you very much. Let's continue to sub. All right. Yep. We got more subs. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get these subs on YouTube, y'all, because you're going to I'm starting to do some exclusive stuff on YouTube as well, moving classes over. So be sure to go over to YouTube, because that's where I'm gonna really start doing a lot of my stuff, especially Q&As and things like that. I'll be having more Q&As on YouTube when it comes to wrestling stuff and psychology stuff, and y'all need therapy too. 300, y'all. 300. Less than 12 and a half minutes in the show, and we have crossed the 300 threshold. And let's go, y'all. Let's get over 1,000 subs tonight. I'm telling y'all, I believe in you. My hand to your hand for the gathering, baby. We can get 1,000 subs, baby. It's been hard times, baby. We can do 1,000 subs a day, baby, because we got 304 people here. If you haven't subscribed on Pancakes and Powerslams YouTube, baby, you go to YouTube, baby. You hit that subscribe button, baby. I know you buy a tablet. I know you buy a laptop, baby. I know that you can go out real quick and go back in, baby. Hit that sub button, baby. We continue to grow up, baby, right now. We continue to grow up right now. We got 309 right now, live and living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will. Let's get to 1,000 subs, baby. Yes, indeed. All right, let's start class, ladies and gentlemen. Let's start class. Class is in session. Thank you very much, baby. Thank you, Rollin. The gather, my hand, your hand, baby. All right. So let's talk about hope. All right. Let's talk about hope. And we're going to talk about the psychology of false hope. I was going to talk about this like last week, and something happened in my life that made me cause whatever I talked about last week. That happened on the spot. Oh yeah, I talked about the IWC last week. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Actually, I got a lot of people messaging me and as giving me some giving me some love on that, because a lot of people wanted that breakdown. A lot of people wanted that breakdown of the IWC. And with that being said, we're going to talk about more of IWC today too. So that's going to be an ongoing reference of a lot of my material as far as the IWC is concerned. Now you got a breakdown of the psychology behind the IWC, and now you'll be able to understand a lot of the rhyme and the reason, the why behind the what when it comes to a lot of these IWC people. But let's talk about the psychology of false hope. And this is really surrounded by this ongoing wishful thinking mentality that stemmed from The Rock versus Roman Reigns. I think I did the bell. If not, we'll do the bell again. And yeah, so it is interesting about this false hope, this Rock versus Roman Reigns. Of course, on paper, who doesn't want to see Rock versus Roman Reigns as far as just the marquee feel, the big fight feel? All of those things are very awesome, very great. Makes perfect sense of why people want to see it. But listen, if it's not time, it's not time. And despite people understand them, the writing's on the wall, and despite that, people still have false hope. People still have false hope. And let's break that down. All right. So in order to have false hope, it's a distortion of what the real thing is, which is hope. And hope is defined by psychologist Dr. Rick Snyder. He defined hope, and he really started beginning this concept psychologically in the 1980s. He defined it as the perceived capability to derive pathways to desired goals and motivate oneself via agency thinking to use those pathways. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time. The perceived capability to derive pathways to desired goals and motivate oneself via agency thinking to use those pathways. All right. So one way to show hope, according to psychology Dr. Professor Matthew Gallagher, is being primed and pivot to what he says to, quote, try to see setbacks as new information about which strategies work and don't work, and then modify your approach to and goal so you maintain momentum toward what you're trying to accomplish. All right, I'm gonna say that one more time. Try to see setbacks as new information about which strategies work and don't work, and then modify your approach and goal so you maintain momentum toward what you're trying to accomplish. All right. So that is a way. A lot of times people don't understand that. People don't understand that the very fact that you're hoping for something, it may not be exactly to the T what you desire, but you need to learn how to recalculate and recalibrate and be rational with your thinking as far as like, is this attainable? Is this achievable? And if I do want this goal, does it have to be to the dot and tittle exactly what I want it to be? The answer is no. As a matter of fact, Dr. Jacqueline Mattis, she's a Rutgers University professor. She said that it's important that we don't be so wedded to specificity of outcome that you lose the big picture and can't pivot. That is really, really important stuff. Let me say that one more time. She said, don't be so wedded to specificity of outcome that you lose the big picture and can't pivot. Now, that is very, very important when understanding the reality and rationality of hope, because what can happen is you get so locked into this specific thing, this specific goal, that you don't know how to pivot. Say, for instance, you want to buy a house. You want to buy a house, and your goal is, I want to buy a house this year, and Lord forbid, your company downsized, and you had a very high executive job, and there you go. Unfortunately, you don't have a job anymore. So, of course, that takes so much away from the trajected goal, or the desired or the planned goal, and the hope that you created to have, and the action that you're taking. Because a lot of times optimism is just kind of like the desired future goals and thoughts, the thought of it, whereas hope is more of an action step. A lot of psychologists talks about there's a difference between optimism and hope, whereas 400, by the way, 400 is in the building. Thank you so much for your continued support here. So the hope is more of an action step. All right, cool. So I hope that I'm going to get a house. All right. That is my goal. That is my hope for this year. Unfortunately, I lost a top level job, and that as a result is causing me to really reassess funds. I really can't afford it anymore. I couldn't even apply because I don't have proof of income right now. And so that really is a huge setback. Okay. Do I still have hope? Yes, I still should have hope. I should pivot though. All right. I shouldn't say, okay, I'm going to go this particular trajectory in order to buy the house based on this job, because that doesn't even exist anymore, because I don't have the job anymore. So what am I going to do to recalibrate? What am I going to do to pivot? What am I going to do to use the setbacks, as Dr. Gallagher would say, the setbacks as new information about which strategies work and don't work, and then modify your approach and goal so you maintain momentum toward what you're trying to accomplish. That's a really important running definition when it comes to hope. All right, so we understand that when it comes to hope. All right, a distorted view of this, or this distorted way of thinking, would be false hope. All right, so you have hope that you're going to get the house despite losing the high level job. You pivot, you understand the power of pivot. You understand those setbacks. You use that as new information, new material to learn how to recalibrate. All right. So when there's information that's different than what you thought, you don't get locked into the specificity of outcome. Instead, what you do is you use it as new information to act accordingly. All right, cool. False hope distorts that, and it should be conceived as unjustified hope, and it's based on ignorance, specifically the lack of relevant information about the chances that the desire that constitutes hope will be realized. Okay, let me break that down for you. So basically, you're still expecting, say you make $150,000 a year with this high-level job. Of course, that can be able to get you a job, of course, get you a nice house. All right. So you don't have, you lost that job now. You don't have the job. And so now you're without income. Now you have to take a break on that process, because now you have to pivot and say, okay, man, I had to work my way up to that 150K. I can't, it's going to be hard to really find something entry level or something right off the bat when I had to work my way up to that. Okay, how do I use this as a pivot? Do I say, okay, I want the house, so I'm going to continue to grind and call my peoples and find out some connections and use my Rolodex accordingly and understand the relationships that I've built over the years and use it to my advantage to eventually still get a job that's close. Maybe I'm only making, well, maybe I'm only making 120, or again, only making 120 a year. Okay, yes, that's 30,000 less, but I can still rock with that. Yes, but I haven't, but I'm no longer in the mindset of, man, I lost my job. No, I've gotten a new job that I can even possibly make even more than 150. So I'm able to still get the house. And in order to have the false hope of the getting so locked into the specificity of outcome, now I'm pivoting and saying, okay, cool. Praise God, found a $120,000 job with opportunity to grow. Now I'm making 160, 170, 180. You know what I mean? Like, now I have those opportunities to make those numbers. And so if you got stuck in the specificity of the outcome, you're just drowning in false hope that you want this way and this is the way you want, and you don't think it gets so distorted that when you get so locked into that specificity, you don't think about other options that could actually be more advantageous to you. And me being a strong believer, being a strong Christian, hey, maybe that was for your benefit. Maybe you didn't have that job anymore because you're being stubborn and being locked into something where God is calling you somewhere else. And so those things you got to think about when it comes to hope. Don't get locked into specificity. Understand the power, the power of the pivot when it comes to hope and desired goals, and be able to use setbacks as new information to modify and adjust to eventually achieve that desired goal. All right, cool. False hope distorts that. And I'm going to give you an example of that. Say, for instance, if someone speaks to like a fitness coach, or for instance, I'm a certified personal trainer. Before I start doing mental health, 7-8 years ago, I've been in the mental health industry. I did a couple other jobs, and I did fitness for about 10 years, and certified personal trainer, and I was also a fitness coach for years. And basically people would come, potential, customers would come, and they would come and they would talk to me, and they would talk to me about fitness goals. And I'm like, okay, what's your fitness goals? What do you want to achieve? This and that. Oftentimes, one of our biggest sales times was January, of course, right? Because New Year's resolutions, you get an influx of people coming in. So I would talk to hundreds, literally, I would talk to hundreds of people, and they would tell me these fitness goals, and they'll be like, I want to get this beach body, and I want to lose this amount of weight, and I want to do all that stuff. And I want to lose it by, May. I want to lose it by spring. I'm going to spring break. I'm going to Florida in May, and I want to have the beach body. If I had $1 for every time someone said that, I'd be able to go to Florida on vacation tomorrow. So just buy the plane, go to Florida, let's go. And I would get that all the time. 6 weeks later, like clockwork, for years. I literally saw this for several years. I would sit down with them. I would break it down to pounds, 3,500 calories. I would do the math with them. Okay, you want to lose this much weight. So this is how much you want to pace yourself. Say if you want to lose 50 pounds in 4 months, that's if you want to lose 50 pounds in 4 months, That's about 12 and a half pounds or so a month. If you want to lose 50 in 4 months, that's about 12 and a half a month. Okay. So that's a little over 3 pounds a week, about 3.125 or whatever pounds a week. So you're losing between 3 to 3.5 pounds a week. All right. Very doable, very, very feasible. You don't have to do any huge, significant, radical changes to even do that, to lose 3 to 3.5 pounds a week. Very doable. So I'm giving a very, smart goal. A lot of us in the psychology think about the SMART method when it comes to goal setting. It makes it more tangible: smart, measurable, attainable, reliable, relatable, and time bound or time sensitive. And so setting the goals, boosting up that dopamine. The SMART goals increases your motivation, which increase your reward system, which your dopamine is works a lot in. Okay, all of those factors. Yep, let's do it. 3 to 3.5 pounds a week. Yep, let's do it. Let's just make some changes in your diet. Come in here more. Let's do some exercises that'll work on building muscle mass, muscle strength. Let's do some work that'll focus on losing weight, etc. All right. So someone starts to see a couple of after a couple of weeks, they lost 7 pounds, right? They get really excited. Oh, let me speed this thing up as far as what I'm hoping. Oh, I'm going to lose 75 pounds by spring break. Bruh, ain't nobody tell you to lose 75 pounds. Let's lose 50 pounds. You're just creating this false hope. And here's the thing. You're doing the exact same regimen that I told you before. The exact same regimen that I gave you before, but some odd reason, the regimen that I gave you was to lose 3 to 3.5 pounds a week. Now you want to lose 7 to 10 pounds a week. So you're doing double to triple the hope, but the same regimen. That's false hope. So guess what happens? You lose your 7, you start feeling yourself, and then after a month, you don't see that type of you don't see that type of weight loss. I never told you that you're going to lose that much weight. I still told you you're going to lose 3 to 3.5 pounds a week. You're looking more toward the 7s, the 8s, the 10s, because you're creating false hope, and you want to tag on a extra amount of weight because you saw some progress. And so guess what happens after a month? And I see this every single year when I worked in fitness. After about 6 weeks, come crashing down. A huge chunk of people no longer comes to the gym, no longer works out. And after 6 weeks, those same people, they don't work out anymore. But guess who I'm seeing in January the next week, the following year? I'm going to see those same people coming in, getting some type of membership, thinking that they can do what they do in 6 weeks. That's false hope, y'all. That's false hope. Again, make it smart. Do a SMART goal. Make it realistic. All right. And get to the point where you're understanding the pace and you're understanding the pivot when it comes to hope. Otherwise, you'll get false hope. You'll bump something up, and then oftentimes they'll come crashing down. Over 500, by the way. Over 500 in the building. Continued thank you, continued gratitude to everybody here on the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. Thank you so much for your support. So what happens is you get the false hope and you start to get away from the realistic part. And what that was is completely just fine. It was just fine. It was just fine. But you create the false hope. You crash out because your brain feels like a failure. And so then we'll start talking about what happens when you start to crash out from this false hope when it comes to the IWC, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into the false hope of The Rock competing at WrestleMania. All right, December 3rd, I reported this. On December 3rd, I was giving some information, I think earlier that week, about The Rock. All right. And so I was told from sources within WWE that the creative plans were that WWE was booking as if The Rock was not going to appear at WrestleMania. All right. That was December 3rd. All right. That was again, a lot of people ask me about inquiries. I get like a flood of inquiries about stuff. I tap into sources within WWE and sources close to the situation, and they give me information. Of course, check my resume, Netflix, returns, surprises. I've been accurate. I've been on the money throughout my entire time reporting stuff. There was people being people trying to say, well, what about this Blair Davenport stuff? First of all, that report was 3 months ago based on a slew of inquiries that I received. 3 months ago, I was told in early November, I was told that they're eyeing Blair Davenport. There was high interest in bringing her in, but there was nowhere to bring her in yet. They wanted to utilize her more when it's 3 hours. That was what I was told. Of course, people say, "Who reveal your sources?" Why would I do that? Like that's just people just are clueless to what journalism is. It's called on background, not for attribution. That means that you can report what's being said. Okay, I'm giving you journalism 101 here. That means that you can report what's being said, but you do not report the person the source of it. That you don't report the person who's attributing or people who are attributing this information, but you can use or quote the information that is being said. All right. That happens throughout insider information. That happens throughout it. That happens throughout every sport, NFL, MLB, NBA. There's insiders everywhere. And so this is not a specific thing to wrestling. A lot of people are so caught up in the wrestling bubble that they don't understand what journalism means. But at the same time, don't ask me what my sources are. That's one of the stupidest things that you can ask a journalist. But a lot of times people don't understand. People get caught up in a wrestling bubble. They have no idea what journalism is or the what journalism means, what attribution, what levels of attribution there is. They don't know all that, and I don't have the time to explain it on Twitter, emotional Twitterverse. I do it here real quick. And so basically tons of false hope that came with me reporting that. All right. Again, the Davenport thing was 3 months ago, and Sonya Deville, unfortunately, was released, and she was just on doing an interview for a New York, New Jersey broadcasting company, a news company. She was just promoting WWE coming to MSG in March, and she got let go. I mean, within days of doing that. So people talking about a report that was 3 months ago And Sonya Deville just got talk about plans changed. And I mean, you saw PFC on TV every week in some way. And they decided not to renew her contract because plans change. I mean, she was someone who was on television. Same thing with LP. I mean, they were Final Testament, beat the Wyatt Six, and Paul Ellering left, had an injury angle, came back, helped the Final Testament beat the Wyatts, the Wyatt Six, and he got let go. Unfortunately, that's just a part of the wrestling culture, man. I mean, this comes with any culture, sports. I mean, people get cut. People get cut from teams. I mean, this person was just a running back and they got cut. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he just won from Philly. He just won. And guess what happened when he was with Alabama? He was balling out. He gets injured. Tua Tagovailoa comes in. Nick Saban likes Tua better. Jalen Hurts gets benched. Tua becomes the starter. Jalen leaves. That's a part of the business. Thankfully, he was able to go, to another college, Oklahoma, and he was still able to get a good draft pick. Of course, he was really good as a quarterback through and through. He just, again, pivoted. He had hope that he was going to be a good quarterback, a successful NFL quarterback. He was able to say, hey, guess what? There's a setback. I'm benched. I'm no longer starting. Tua is starting over me. Guess what? I'm going to take that new information. I'm going to pivot, and I'm going to still achieve my goals, but now in Oklahoma. That's what happens when you understand how to hope correctly. But unfortunately, what happens oftentimes in the pro wrestling community, they get stuck on specificity. And unfortunately, what happens is they start to get a lot of emotional distortion because it's different than their specific way of understanding things. Now, hey, you could get The Rock at SummerSlam. You can get The Rock at WrestleMania for next year. You can get some seeds sown, but nope, you specifically want him for this year. So you start making irrational, unfettered, unhinged, uncouth statements that shows your emotional level, your emotional intelligence level, and you start making comments such as the responses that I received from this report on December 3rd. I'm going to say some of these, okay? Please tell me what your source is. Fake news. This was a long run-on sentence. Here we go. Ready? You don't know. Just admit you don't know. Nobody is talking to you. Nobody is talking to any dirt sheets. You have to stop making these lies up and forcing these clickbait for people just to say you don't know anything and move on. That was a run-on sentence. That was one sentence, by the way. Yeah, I don't believe it. Sorry. Everyone who believes this nonsense is getting played right now. You're making this bleep up, you troll bleep ho. Again, refer to my psychology of the internet wrestling community for more updates, ladies and gentlemen. So that was some of the responses just by a journalist reporting information from the inside that it received. False hope in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what? A month later comes and The Rock basically squelches two feuds that seeds were planted. One being the Rock Cody feud. He went from 9 months ago, whipping him with a Mama Rhodes belt, having a match with him, a tag match with him at WrestleMania, still kind of sowing seeds but cutting a promo at the end of after WrestleMania on Raw, saying that he was going to leave, but still planting seeds, still kind of keeping it out there. But he comes on Netflix January 6th, and he basically says, "Go get him, Tiger. Cody, you're the flagship of the WWE. You got this, bud. You got him. Go get him. You're the champ. You got this." Talk about dampering. Talk about talk about blowing the torch out, snubbing. Talk about all of those things. When it comes to The Rock and Cody Rhodes, that promo basically did it all. And that was a month ago. And we already saw the Royal Rumble go by. There was a pay-per-view in between that. Rock wasn't there. And so it's clear to say, it's safe to say, again, from what I received 2 months ago, a little over 2 months ago, listen, WWE wants to plan The Rock to be there. They want The Rock to be there. But at the same, and if it fits his schedule, he has the ability to say, hey, things are working out, fit me in to an extent, because you don't want to go too far in and throw him in there. But we've already saw it. We have already seen it when it comes to him basically putting Cody Rhodes over, getting a babyface reaction, playing to the babyface reaction, not being heel in any way at both Raw and NXT the next night, drinking backstage with Cody Rhodes, giving Roman Reigns the Ula Fala. Talk about I'm going to give you a rub on the way out. That's exactly what we saw when it came to The Rock. But people were still having hope. But there's still hope. But The Rock's going to be at the Royal Rumble. That's the problem oftentimes with the pro wrestling community, man. There's so many psychological studies of the danger of having there's still hope mentality. Because guess what? What happens is studies show that it creates a hazardous path of coping and continued denial. And this distorts reality oftentimes, and it distorts someone's way of thinking. And guess what happens? In order to mitigate this false hope of feeling like a failure, that's when narcissistic tendencies and narcissistic traits starts to come in. And we see that with the pro wrestling community. We see, okay, this is a different set of beliefs, a different set of thinking that I'm locked in. I'm so locked into the specificity, and I'm emotionally unstable, and I'm emotionally immature. So therefore, I'm going to say comments that reflects my emotional immaturity and my specificity of thought. Not understanding the pivot. I'm specific and I'm unhinged. So therefore, I'm going to vomit that out on social media. And I'm going to say things to gaslight. I'm going to say things to puff up my insecurity because I'm going to feel like a failure if this guy's right. That's happened so many times. When I reported Sami Zayn and was going to go against Seth Rollins on a Raw main event, man, those comments that I just read you, times them by 10. I mean, no, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Who is this guy? Who's this? Fake news. And as soon as that happened, I got probably a handful of people giving me the Shaq meme when the main event was announced on Raw. I got a few people giving me I apologize, I wasn't familiar with your game, Shaq meme and video clips. But shout out to them. But guess what? Nobody else said nothing. And there was dozens of people who doubted. But guess what? Because of their insecurity and feeling like a failure, that's when egocentrism, toxic pride, narcissistic tendencies, that all comes in because they're trying to mitigate their sense of feeling like a failure. It happened a bunch of other times too when I reported stuff. Got the slew of fake news, who's this, blah, blah. It happened. Crickets. Crickets, ladies and gentlemen. Crickets. 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 That's all we heard. We heard crickets. And it's like, you know what, man? Understanding the psychology of false hope when it comes to the IWC, then you'll start to realize when you see those comments, man, you don't have you shouldn't have the energy. You shouldn't allow yourself to be forced to entertain the energy of people trying to recover from feeling the failure of false hope. I report something, oh no, it happens, crickets. Or trying to double or triple down their cognitive dissonance. And so be careful with that false hope, y'all. You have to realize that, hey, man, life is full of pivots. Trust me when I say I have experienced this firsthand. Trust me when I say, man. Oh my goodness. Life is full of pivots. You have to understand the power of the pivot. Don't get caught up in specificity. If there's a setback or if there's a lateral shift in any way, use that as opportunity to take that as new information. Okay, setback or something different. It doesn't even have to be completely a setback. It's something different, right? It's this was 3.5 pounds a week. Okay, this week I lost 5. Okay, that's great. Okay, this week I lost 2. Cool. Well, if I do the math though, that's still the same road to 2 weeks. Instead of losing 3.5 this week and 3.5 that week, I lost 5. Okay, cool. That's great. Or I lost 2 this week. Like, oh, okay, cool. A little bit of a setback, but it's cool. I'm not going to say, oh man, I got to lose 3.5, man. Oh man. Oh no, cool. Let's lose 4. Let's lose 5. Let's lose 6 next week. All good. New set of information. It's an adjustment from what I was lined up and thinking. Let's rock with it. Let's work with it. So that's a really good way of critically thinking, problem solving, working that muscle of being a really, really good problem solver, is to realize that false hope is just a distorted way of thinking. And a lot of psychologists says, hey, false hope is really no hope. It doesn't even, there's not even a basis of hope that is causing it to be false, because it's false, there's no hope involved. It's just a deceptive, distorted way of thinking. So my challenge to you, class, is to understand, especially when it comes to pro wrestling news, y'all. Like if it's news, okay, hey, I trust the source, but I understand plans change too, right? And I'm not going to spend my time as a grown adult male making this emotion-laden reaction on a piece of news. The Rock isn't planning on being at WrestleMania based on the current plans of December. pivot, move on, do something else, enjoy WrestleMania a different way. Like host the WrestleMania party, make some buffalo dip, buy some wings, make some wings, order a pizza, like do things that pivots away from you being so locked in that The Rock's going to be there. Figure it out, y'all. Figure it out, move on, understand the importance of pivot and rock away. All right. That is class, ladies and gentlemen. That is class. And we are going to quickly have it's time. We're going to have time for matter of fact, it is time for the question cave. 552 people here right now. Let's get those YouTube subs rocking and rolling. Let's get to 1,000, y'all. Let's get to 1,000 subs on YouTube. All right. Everybody who's here right now. Again, thank you so much. We have not dipped. We have done nothing but grow the entire show. The entire show to over 550 people watching live. No, never dipped. It just grew the entire time, y'all. So thank you. Enjoy this free class that students would pay for by simply liking my YouTube channel. Yes, indeed. I appreciate it. All right. Let's get to some questions really quick. All right. Let's start off. We at the People's Wrestling Channel, an absolute shocker with Ricky Starks showing up in NXT. This is a massive loss for TK, showing he really knows nothing about the wrestling business. Again, that's a subjective view on Tony Khan. He knows nothing about the wrestling business. I mean, he knows enough to sign with Max, but I mean, he has received a lot of backlash when it comes to many things, especially with the new slate of releases, and well, not releases. I mean, people leaving, people who left. All right, your thoughts on latest releases? Where would they end up? So Sonya, Blair, Electra, Duke, Gallows, Anderson, ALP, and Paul Ellering, Cedric, Island, Vinci. We'll talk about that on the after party. We'll go through all of them and talk about that on the after party. That'll be one of the main topics on the after party. Patreon.com, or your patron. Patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. Patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. I'm going to let you know about some information. One of them in particular, I know a couple of things. Two actually, from when I'm watching here. There's two of them that I can tell you some exclusive stuff about. All right. Let's see. We'll talk about a few other things. Hashtag Ask Doc. Ricky Starks looked like 4 guys in group on NXT video. I noticed his hair in video and looked like his. It'd be interesting to see. I saw the silhouette. People, that's psychology at its finest, man. It's the Zeigarnik effect. It's just an incomplete thought in someone's head. They don't know it, and so they're going to be thinking about it and pondering it. Kudos to WWE. That's how you work psychology. Rollins is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Rollins in the building. All right, let's get to this 1,000, y'all. Let's get to this 1,000. That's right. Like button has been slashed. Absolute. Pancakes and Power Slams. Is it to reveal your time? I think. So I bought a couple of paraphernalia. I bought some attire of my new favorite football team, and I think I'm going to take a picture the next week or two and post it on my Post it on my socials. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Yes, one of the goats. One of the goats, absolutely. Did I enjoy the Super Bowl? It was a slobber, and that wasn't really a slobber knocker. It wasn't even, yeah, it was pretty bad until like the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. But other than that, it was pretty bad, man. But hey, I'm cool. I'm cool with it, man. I rock with it. I rock with it. I'm glad for Jalen Hurts. Just like I said, talk about the prime example of recovering from false, like not having false hope, and not being able to pivot and being able to use a setback in order to go to another, prominent football team and be able to have a high draft pick in the NFL and just a few years later win the Super Bowl. Kudos to Jalen Hurts. I love the story, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you call true hope and being able to, man, great stuff. Being able to use that pivot and own it, grab it by the genetic juggernauts and say, you will not rule over me. You will serve me. And I am the one who's going to lead this charge, not you, not the situation, but me all along, as Vince McMahon would say. All right. What's your favorite Jim Ross Triple H moment? It was so funny to me how much JR hated Triple H. Whenever he attacked someone from behind, he would call him out of his name all the time. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. James, is it possible to ever see Draws get inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame? I know people think I want him because of my friendship with him, which is kind of true, but I also like this work. I don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, inducted in the Hall of Fame, but Draws was definitely a hard worker. Absolutely sucks that happened to him the way that it did, and it's really, really cool that you still keep in touch with them, and that he was your friend. So yeah, so it was awesome that you continue to do that. And so I remember you posted something a couple of years ago when he passed away, and kudos to you, James. What a wonderfully hearted guy. All right, we tag a few people that hasn't made a comment yet. Okay, let me do a couple of more. Hashtag Ask Doc. Robert, what's your favorite pancakes? Mine is, I think mine is chocolate chip. I like cinnamon roll pancakes, y'all. But I tell you what, my favorite pancakes, like I've said before, Cracker Barrel, brown, crispy edges, ladies and gentlemen. Brown, crispy edges. All right. What else we got? We got a couple more real quick before we head out. James was very disappointed in the Men's Royal Rumble this year and last year's. It's like we never get any surprise legends anymore. I get a lot of them retired, but you can at least got one. I agree. I do think I think that I say this every year, man. The Royal Rumble really is 30 people, but there's only really about 5 people that actually have a shot winning. 5 or less people every year that really is in the running of winning. like even like Orton, yes, he's going to be there. He's going to be in a prominent spot or some on any given year, but there's a really good chance that he wouldn't win, right? So same thing like an AJ Styles. Legend, he's going to be in there, but he's not likely to win. So those people are fun. I always say the Royal Rumble should be used for three specific purposes. It should give someone an opportunity who's right at that threshold to win and have a crowning moment, so to speak, to get them into that main event threshold to pass. It's like a rite of passage. It transitions them through from good to great type of deal. It's like a passageway to that main event prominent spot. All right. It's also an opportunity for people to start feuds. Someone eliminates somebody, someone gets upset, that leads to a feud. All right. It also gives an opportunity for the fans to see legends. Because at the end of the day, again, a fraction of the people have a chance of winning, and the fans know that. Someone like I Show Speed, he's not gonna win the Royal Rumble. Someone like a Dominic Mysterio is not gonna win the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he can be used. So when a return comes, you're bunching up, and that's another reason, you're bunching people in the Royal Rumble in order for that big person or the person you want to push, that return comes, then they're just bodies that basically are being eliminated to make that person look stronger. So there's several reasons why it could work. We just passed 600, y'all. We just passed 600 right now on this show. Thank you so much for your continued support on the show, y'all. But yeah, those are reasons for the Royal Rumble. But the celebrity factor is awesome, though. So, all right, Zubair's in the building. Real quick, Rollin. I think that I was over Rock versus Roman when it didn't happen last year. I pivoted fast. There you go. Look at Rollin. Look at Rollin. Already taking notes and retaining what he learned in class. Let's go. Cody winning the Rumble and simply giving up his spot to Rock was lazy, bad writing, and WWE paid for it. Now, that I agree with 100%. I agree. Yes, it was lazy. Yes, they paid for it, especially with the lack of reaction from with Cody now. Zubair, sorry I passed out last week. Sorry, it's very tired with busy schedule. Any moment in your life when you fell asleep when you didn't want to? Yeah, man. If you see a few of these, I think I had COVID. I think I was talking about I'll do it for you. I think it was the Tuesday PNP when I had COVID, like the Tuesday after WrestleMania 36. I was actually sent to cover the event. They paid, flight, Airbnb, all the things to Tampa. I was supposed to go to Tampa. I was supposed to get up early Thursday morning, go over to Tampa. Wednesday night, I found out I got COVID. That was horrible. That was absolutely tragic because I love going to new cities, and I haven't been to Tampa at that time. I never been to Tampa at that time. Before that time, and so man, I was just I was mostly just so disappointed because I didn't get to visit Tampa. But the following Tuesday or the Tuesday after, you can go back in the archives. It's like April of I think it's April of 2020. It's one of those shows, man. My energy was so off. I was battling COVID, and COVID, I mean, it hit me hard, y'all. And I I was still rocking and rolling with y'all, man. Talk about dedication to this show. And I was so de-energized. I was struggling, y'all. And I think that I dozed off during one of those shows when I had COVID because my energy was so low. And yeah, man, I think I woke up and said, all right, it's time to go, y'all. So yeah, one of those shows. So go back and check that out. Cool. We will talk. All your gym is following chapter 11. That sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. Hope they recover financially from that. All right, y'all. Man, as always, man, y'all just continue to impress your boy. All right, guess what? Speaking of impress, let's get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. All right. So 610 people right now. And I have seen more subs on YouTube. So thank you for that. There's 610 people live on this show right now. So I'm about to hop off. We're about to do the Patreon, Pancakes and Powerslams, patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. I am so just blessed so much every single week of your continued support here on the Pancakes and Powerslams Show. This class today was the psychology of false hope and tied it into the Rock and Roman match that we haven't got and still haven't got. But hey, maybe we could pivot and get excited about next year, perhaps. But hey, understand the power of the pivot, y'all. Take the new information, rock with it, roll with it, and run with it, y'all. All right. Patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. About to hop off. As soon as you hop off, do two things for me. Three things. Like the video on YouTube. Comment on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. And add a fourth in there too. Share the video. All right. Like on YouTube. Comment on YouTube, share on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. All of those things bump the algorithms. So guess what? Someone who's scrolling YouTube would say, the psychology of false hope. I'm interested. And they'll click. And they'll bring even more people onto this platform that didn't even know. They had no clue about Pancakes and Powerslams, but YouTube, that's how their algorithm works. So that's what they do, and they plaster videos based on algorithms, based on likes, comments, subscribes, shares, and subs. All right? Help your boy do that. Pay me back. That's some law of reciprocity there, okay? I'm giving you free classes. A sub is free as well. All right, I appreciate that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're hopping over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Pancakes and Powerslams. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.